People love to talk about success like it's some mysterious event. They look at a millionaire driving a supercar, at an athlete standing on a championship stage, at a man who walks into a room with confidence and respect, and they say the same thing every time. He's gifted. He got lucky. He was born different. But they never see the thousands of invisible actions that created that person. They never see the mornings he woke up tired and still worked. They never see the nights he stayed disciplined while everyone else chased distraction. They never see the habits repeated so many times that they stopped being actions and became identity. Because that's the truth nobody wants to hear. Your habits are not something you do. Your habits become who you are. Every single day you are casting votes for the person you will become. When you wake up early instead of hitting snooze, you are voting for discipline. When you train your body even when you don't feel like it, you are voting for strength. When you keep promises to yourself, you are voting for confidence. And when you break those promises over and over again, you slowly train your mind to stop trusting you. That's why some people walk into a room with power in their eyes while others walk in full of doubt. It's not magic, it's repetition. Confidence is built when your mind sees evidence that you can rely on yourself. Weakness is built when your mind sees a pattern of excuses. Imagine two men waking up in the same city, same age, same opportunities, same internet, same 24 hours. One gets up immediately, trains his body, focuses on his goals, learns valuable skills, controls his emotions, and stays disciplined even when nobody is watching. The other spends hours scrolling through nonsense, delaying his work, feeding laziness, complaining about life, and escaping reality through entertainment. Fast forward 5 years. One man looks unstoppable. The other looks lost. People call one special and the other unfortunate, but the truth is simpler than that. Their habits created two completely different identities. The dangerous thing about habits is that they feel small while they are happening. Nobody destroys their future in one day. Nobody becomes exceptional overnight either. Life changes quietly. One bad habit repeated long enough becomes a prison. One powerful habit repeated long enough becomes freedom. A man who says, "I'll start tomorrow," is not just delaying action. He is training himself to become someone who delays action. A man who quits every time things get difficult is not just avoiding pain. He is becoming someone whose identity is weakness. The brain is always watching. It remembers patterns. And eventually your patterns become automatic. This is why motivation alone is useless. Motivation changes with emotion. Identity changes behavior permanently. If a person sees himself as lazy, he will always return to lazy habits no matter how inspired he feels for one day. But when a man truly sees himself as disciplined, his standards change. He no longer negotiates with excuses because discipline is no longer an activity. It becomes part of who he is. That's why the most dangerous phrase in the world is, "This is just who I am." People use it to protect weakness. I'm just not confident. I'm just bad with money. I'm just lazy. No, you trained yourself into those patterns through repetition, and that means you can train yourself out of them the exact same way. Your identity is not fixed. It is built. Every habit is shaping your future self, whether you realize it or not. The food you eat is building your body. The content you consume is building your mindset. The people you spend time with are building your standards. The conversations you repeat inside your own head are building your reality. Most people underestimate how quickly small actions compound. Reading 10 pages a day sounds meaningless until you realize it becomes thousands of pages in a few years. Training for 1 hour a day sounds small until your body transforms completely. Saving money consistently sounds boring until financial freedom appears years later. Tiny actions become massive outcomes because consistency is more powerful than intensity. That's why successful people obsess over routines while average people obsess over outcomes. Average people want instant results. They want abs in 2 weeks, money overnight, confidence without struggle, success without sacrifice. But the people who actually win understand something deeper. The process creates the person. Look at fighters. Before they become champions in the ring, they become champions in their habits. Waking up early, running when exhausted, training while injured, controlling diet, repeating techniques thousands of times. By the time the world sees victory, the identity was already built long before the spotlight arrived. And the same principle applies to every area of life. If you constantly consume negativity, gossip, and weakness, your mind starts operating at that frequency. If you surround yourself with disciplined people, your standards rise automatically. Human beings adapt to their environment faster than they realize. That's why weak environments create weak identities. Modern society profits from distraction. Think about it. Everywhere you look, there is something fighting for your attention. Social media, endless videos, notifications, cheap entertainment, dopamine everywhere. Why? Because distracted people are easier to control. A distracted man never discovers his true potential because his focus is constantly broken. The modern world has made comfort an addiction. People would rather feel temporary pleasure than long-term fulfillment. They would rather escape reality than conquer it. But every time you choose comfort over growth, you reinforce an identity built around avoidance. And avoidance destroys self-respect. You can lie to other people, but your mind always knows the truth. It knows when you are wasting your potential. It knows when you are capable of more. That hidden frustration many people feel is not random sadness. It's the pain of becoming less than what they could have been. But the moment you start changing your habits, something incredible begins to happen. Your self-respect returns. Even small victories matter. Waking up on time, finishing workouts, keeping your word, staying focused. These actions seem tiny from the outside, but internally they are transforming your identity. Because every disciplined action sends a message to your brain. I am someone who follows through. That sentence changes everything. The strongest people in the world are not always the smartest or most talented. Often they are simply the people who built identities around discipline. They trained themselves to act regardless of emotion. They stopped asking, do I feel like it? And started asking, who am I becoming? That question is powerful because your future is hidden inside your daily routine. If someone watched your habits for 30 days, could they predict your future? Most of the time, yes. Because success leaves clues, but failure does too. A person constantly learning new skills will eventually become valuable. A person wasting endless hours every day will eventually feel stuck. Habits always reveal direction. And once you understand this, excuses become impossible to justify. You stop blaming luck. You stop blaming the economy. You stop blaming other people. Because while circumstances matter, your repeated actions matter more over time. Discipline creates momentum. Momentum creates transformation. Transformation creates a completely different life. The world respects people who master themselves because self-mastery is rare. Most people are controlled by emotion, distraction, fear, laziness, and impulse. Very few people can control their own mind consistently. That's why discipline is attractive. It represents power. A man who controls his habits controls his future. A man who cannot control his habits will always be controlled by something else. And the frightening part is that people usually wait too long to realize this. Years disappear. Potential disappears. Opportunities disappear. Then one day, they look in the mirror wondering how life moved so fast. But life was being shaped every day through habits they ignored. Your identity is being written right now by what you repeatedly tolerate, repeatedly consume, repeatedly think, and repeatedly do. The person you become next year is already hiding inside your current routine. The most dangerous addiction in the modern world is not drugs. It is not alcohol. It is comfort. Because drugs can destroy your body, but comfort destroys your ambition, your discipline, your hunger, your identity, and eventually your entire future without you even noticing it happening. Comfort is silent. That's what makes it terrifying. Nobody wakes up one morning and decides to ruin their potential. It happens slowly. One extra hour in bed, one more day procrastinating, one more excuse to avoid discomfort, one more night wasted scrolling through meaningless content while dreams slowly die in the background. And because these actions feel harmless in the moment, people never realize they are building a weak mindset day by day. Modern society has designed the perfect trap. Everything is engineered to make people comfortable. Food arrives instantly. Entertainment never ends. Attention spans are collapsing because people can't tolerate boredom anymore. The average person wakes up and immediately grabs their phone before they even control their own thoughts. Before their feet touch the ground, they are already consuming distractions. And then they wonder why they feel lost. Your brain was not built for constant pleasure. Human beings evolved through struggle, challenge, pressure, and survival. The strongest qualities in people were created through hardship, discipline, courage, focus, resilience. But when a person lives entirely for comfort, those qualities begin to disappear. That's why so many people today feel mentally weak, even though life has become easier than ever before. Think about it. Previous generations faced war, physical labor, survival pressure, uncertainty, and real consequences. Today, many people collapse emotionally because of criticism on social media or temporary discomfort. Why? Because comfort lowers tolerance for pain. And when your tolerance for pain becomes weak, your ability to grow disappears. Growth requires discomfort. There is no exception. Every powerful transformation in life begins with resistance. Muscles grow through stress. Confidence grows through fear. Discipline grows through repetition. Financial success grows through sacrifice. But most people spend their lives avoiding resistance instead of understanding that resistance is the very thing that creates strength. Look at what happens inside a gym. When someone lifts weights, they are literally damaging muscle fibers. The body rebuilds stronger afterward. That principle applies to life itself. Pressure creates adaptation. But modern culture teaches people to escape pressure instead of using it. People avoid difficult conversations. They avoid hard work. They avoid responsibility. They avoid risk. They avoid rejection. They avoid failure. And every time they avoid discomfort, they weaken themselves a little more. Comfort feels safe in the short term, but dangerous in the long term. The scary part is that comfort often disguises itself as happiness. People say, I just want an easy life. But easy rarely creates fulfillment. Deep inside, human beings crave meaning, challenge, progress, and growth. That's why people who live completely comfortable lives often feel empty. Their spirit knows they are capable of more. There's a reason successful people voluntarily choose difficult things. Cold showers, intense training, long work hours, strict discipline. It's not because they enjoy suffering for no reason. It's because they understand something the average person doesn't. Hardship sharpens the mind. When you repeatedly put yourself in uncomfortable situations, your brain adapts. Fear loses power over you. Stress becomes manageable. Your confidence rises because you start proving to yourself that you can survive difficulty. That's why discipline creates freedom. Weak people think discipline is punishment. Strong people understand discipline is power. A disciplined person controls his emotions instead of being controlled by them. He acts based on purpose, not temporary feelings. Most people are slaves to emotion. If they feel tired, they stop. If they feel unmotivated, they quit. If something becomes difficult, they escape. Their emotions control their actions, and their actions control their future. But emotions are temporary. Greatness cannot depend on temporary feelings. Imagine waking up early while your body begs for sleep. Imagine working while everyone else wastes time. Imagine training when you feel exhausted. Those moments matter because they separate who you are from what you feel. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen your identity. And identity is everything. A weak identity constantly seeks pleasure. A strong identity seeks growth. The entertainment industry understands this perfectly. Billions of dollars are spent keeping people distracted because distracted people consume more. Endless videos, endless scrolling, endless stimulation. The average person now spends huge portions of life consuming instead of creating. And the problem with constant stimulation is that it destroys focus. When your brain becomes addicted to easy dopamine, hard work starts feeling unbearable. Reading feels difficult. Building a business feels difficult. Studying feels difficult. Training feels difficult. Not because these things are impossible, but because your brain has been conditioned to expect instant rewards. That's why many people quit goals quickly. Their mind has lost patience. Real success is delayed gratification, planting seeds today for rewards that may not come for years. But modern culture trains people to expect immediate pleasure, fast entertainment, fast food, fast validation, fast results. And when reality doesn't move that quickly, people become frustrated and give up. Comfort destroys patience. Discipline builds endurance. There's also another hidden danger in comfort. It lowers standards. When someone repeatedly tolerates laziness, excuses become normal. Wasted time becomes normal. Mediocrity becomes normal. Slowly, the person stops expecting greatness from themselves. And once standards drop, potential disappears. That's why environment matters so much. If everyone around you lives comfortably, average behavior starts feeling acceptable. Complaining becomes normal. Lack of ambition becomes normal. Weakness becomes normalized. Humans naturally adapt to the standards around them. But highly disciplined people create different environments. They surround themselves with pressure, focus, and accountability. They understand that greatness cannot grow inside an atmosphere built around excuses. And here's the painful truth many people avoid. Comfort often comes at the cost of respect. Deep down, people admire those who conquer difficult things. Athletes, soldiers, entrepreneurs, fighters, leaders. Why? Because discipline is rare. Most people know how hard it is to stay focused, stay consistent, and resist temptation. So when they see someone mastering themselves, they naturally respect it. But when a person constantly chooses comfort, even they begin losing respect for themselves. That inner disappointment becomes dangerous. Because once people stop respecting themselves, they start escaping reality even more. More distractions, more excuses, more avoidance, more comfort. It becomes a cycle. The only way to break that cycle is through controlled hardship. You have to deliberately challenge yourself. Force yourself to do things that build mental toughness. Wake up earlier, train harder, learn difficult skills, stay focused longer, keep promises to yourself, sit in silence without constant stimulation, push beyond convenience. Because every time you survive discomfort, your mind expands. A man who conquers himself becomes dangerous in the best possible way. He stops fearing difficulty because difficulty becomes familiar. While everyone else panics under pressure, he remains calm. While others seek shortcuts, he embraces the process. While others collapse emotionally, he stays disciplined. And over time, this creates separation. The disciplined person becomes stronger physically, mentally, financially, and emotionally, while the comfort-addicted person slowly weakens in every category. One life moves toward freedom. The other moves toward regret. Regret is the final cost of comfort. Not the comfort itself, but what it steals from you over decades. The business never started. The body never built. The confidence never developed. The opportunities never taken. The potential never realized. Most people are not destroyed by failure. They are destroyed by years of avoiding challenge. And the frightening part is that life keeps moving whether you improve or not. Time never pauses. Every day either builds you or weakens you. There is no neutral direction. Your habits are always shaping you into someone stronger or someone softer. That's why disciplined people become obsessed with controlling their routines. They know every decision matters. Every distraction matters. Every repeated action matters. Because eventually your daily behavior becomes your destiny. And once a person understands that comfort is not harmless, but actually one of the greatest threats to human potential, they stop chasing easy lives and start building stronger minds. Most people destroy their own progress because they underestimate the power of small actions. They believe success only comes from massive changes, dramatic moments, and extreme transformations. They want to wake up one day completely different. Rich overnight, confident overnight, disciplined overnight. But life does not work that way. Real transformation happens quietly, slowly, repeatedly. And by the time the results become visible, the habits behind them have already been operating for months or even years. The problem is that people are obsessed with instant gratification. They want immediate proof that their effort is working. If they go to the gym for 1 week and don't see a perfect body, they quit. If they start a business and don't make money immediately, they quit. If they study a skill for 1 month and still feel average, they quit. They do not understand that success is often invisible in the beginning. A seed planted underground looks like nothing for a long time. But underneath the surface, roots are growing quietly. The same thing happens with discipline, confidence, knowledge, strength, and success. Progress is happening long before the world notices it. That's why consistency beats intensity every single time. Anyone can feel motivated for one day. Anyone can wake up inspired after watching a video. Anyone can make promises when emotions are high. But the people who truly change their lives are the ones who keep going after the excitement disappears. They understand that small actions repeated daily become unstoppable forces over time. Think about how dangerous small negative habits can become. Spending just 1 extra hour every day wasting time online doesn't seem serious, but multiply that by years. Thousands of hours disappear, entire opportunities disappear, skills that could have been mastered never develop. Potential slowly fades because of small repeated choices. Now reverse the principle. Imagine reading 10 pages every day. It sounds insignificant, but after a year, you've read thousands of pages. Imagine saving a small amount of money consistently. Over time, financial stability begins to appear. Imagine training your body for 1 hour every day. One day you suddenly look in the mirror and barely recognize yourself. Small habits create shocking transformations when repeated long enough. The frightening thing is that life compounds whether your habits are good or bad. Most people ignore this because daily changes feel invisible. You don't notice yourself becoming weaker after 1 lazy day. You don't notice yourself becoming smarter after reading 1 chapter. The effects are too small to detect immediately, but time magnifies everything. And that's why disciplined people become obsessed with routines. They know that success is not built in giant moments. It is built in ordinary moments repeated consistently. The way you start your morning matters. The way you speak to yourself matters. The food you eat matters. The people you spend time with matter. The way you react to stress matters. Every repeated action is shaping your future identity, whether you realize it or not. This is where most people fail. They focus too much on goals and not enough on systems. A goal is temporary, a system is permanent. Anyone can say, I want to become successful. But what are your daily habits? What are your routines? What standards are you living by every single day? Because your future is hidden inside your daily behavior, not your motivational speeches. That's why 2 people can have the same dream but completely different outcomes. One person waits for motivation. The other creates systems. One person acts emotionally. The other acts consistently. Over time, the gap between them becomes massive. People often look at successful individuals and only see the final result. They see the money, the confidence, the physique, the influence. What they don't see are the thousands of small disciplined actions repeated when nobody was watching. Nobody applauds the early mornings. Nobody celebrates the sacrifice in the beginning. Nobody notices the boring routines. But those routines are exactly what create extraordinary lives. Look at elite athletes. Their greatness is not built during championships. It's built during ordinary training sessions repeated for years. The drills, the repetition, the discipline, the consistency. Those small actions compound into mastery. The same principle applies to business, relationships, confidence, communication, and mental toughness. Tiny repeated behaviors become identity over time. That's why your environment is so important. Small influences shape your thinking more than you realize. If you spend time around negative people every day, negativity slowly becomes normal. If you spend time around focused, disciplined people, your standards rise naturally. Human beings absorb habits from their surroundings. Even the content you consume affects your future. Watch weak-minded content every day and your mindset weakens. Feed your brain discipline, ambition, and growth consistently, and your thinking changes over time. Your mind becomes what it repeatedly consumes. And this is why small decisions are never truly small. One workout will not transform your body. One productive day will not transform your life. One conversation will not instantly build confidence. But repeated enough times, these actions become life-changing. The challenge is that humans naturally crave immediate rewards, while success often operates on delayed rewards. This is why average people quit early while disciplined people continue. The disciplined person understands something powerful. Results are coming even when they are invisible. Imagine water slowly heating in a pot. For a long time, nothing seems different. Then eventually it reaches boiling point. Success works the same way. People think transformation happens suddenly, but usually it was building quietly all along. This understanding changes the way you approach life. You stop chasing quick fixes. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop expecting overnight success. Instead, you become obsessed with consistency because you realize consistency eventually becomes unstoppable. Small habits also build mental toughness. When you repeatedly keep promises to yourself, your self-respect increases. You begin trusting yourself more. Confidence grows because confidence is built through evidence. Every disciplined action becomes proof that you are capable of more. But every broken promise weakens your identity. That's why seemingly tiny choices matter psychologically. Hitting snooze repeatedly trains your brain to avoid discomfort. Finishing difficult tasks trains your brain to endure pressure. The mind is always adapting to your repeated behavior. People think confidence comes from external validation. In reality, lasting confidence comes from self-discipline. Knowing that you can rely on yourself changes the way you walk, think, speak, and operate under pressure. And here's another truth most people ignore. Massive life changes often begin with embarrassingly small actions. A person trying to improve their life usually wants to change everything immediately. They create impossible plans, extreme schedules, unrealistic expectations. Then they fail within days and return to old habits. Real change works differently. You master one habit first, then another, then another. Slowly, momentum builds. And momentum is powerful because success becomes easier once movement begins. A man who starts waking up earlier often begins improving other areas naturally. His focus improves, his productivity improves, his discipline improves. One positive habit creates another. Small wins create bigger wins. That's why your first step matters even if it feels tiny. Reading one page is better than reading nothing. One workout is better than no workout. One productive hour is better than wasting the entire day. Small actions seem weak individually, but repeated consistently, they become stronger than motivation itself. The world often glorifies dramatic success stories, but behind almost every powerful transformation is a boring truth: repetition. The entrepreneur making millions repeated focused work for years. The fighter repeated painful training for years. The confident speaker repeated uncomfortable practice for years. Greatness usually looks ordinary while it's being built. And this is where patience becomes a superpower. Most people are too impatient to become exceptional. They quit because progress feels slow. They compare themselves to others too early. They expect immediate rewards for small efforts. But disciplined people understand that time is their greatest weapon. If you improve even slightly every single day, the long-term results become unimaginable. A weak body becomes strong. A distracted mind becomes focused. A broke person becomes financially stable. A shy person becomes confident. A lost person becomes dangerous, all through small, repeated actions. That's why the future is never created in one dramatic moment. It is created daily through invisible habits nobody else notices. Every disciplined action becomes a brick building the foundation of your future life. And eventually, the compound effect becomes impossible to ignore because what once looked like tiny, ordinary habits turns into extraordinary results that completely separate one life from another. At the end of the day, your future is not decided by luck, talent, or motivation. It is decided by the habits you repeat when nobody is watching. Every excuse weakens you. Every disciplined action strengthens you. Comfort may feel safe today, but discipline builds the life most people only dream about. The person you want to become is already waiting on the other side of consistency, sacrifice, and self-control. Small actions may look meaningless in the moment, but over time they create unstoppable people. So the real question is not whether your life will change. The real question is, what habits are shaping your destiny right now?